Welcome again to another lecture. Here we're going to continue working on our project. We have managed to create controller for pages, so pages controller. Now the next thing is that we need to learn, because in routes, so somewhere is pronounced route, somewhere routes. I'm just going to call it routes because when I say route, I just want to say route for the application route, right? So you can call it route or routes, doesn't matter. Now here we were passing, because we have the ID and the title in the URL, right? But now we don't have it here, and I think we need to change it a little bit, the views. Now here I'm just gonna create new folder, new folder called posts, and that will be for posts. And I'm just gonna drag, or you can cut it, Control X, but I'm gonna drag it and drop it in the posts. Move it, right? So you can do whatever you want. You can actually cut it from there and put it here, or you can delete it from here. Just make it new one here. So now I have the blog here. You can have, for the posts, 99% of the developers use index.blade.php in order to list all of the posts, and after that they list individual posts and stuff like that, like blog.blade. Now just this is for showing so how to do this, but we're not gonna do it in this controller here. And by the way, I'm just gonna delete all of this. I don't want to have functions here. They're listed and we're not using them. So I'm gonna show you one trick, something that I haven't shown you before. Now if you want to see all routes and list of the routes, PHP artisan route and list, and if you go here, route list all registered routes. Now let's see how many, and it's stuck for some reason, I don't know why. Let's say Control C. Okay, let's put it again, PHP. So sometimes if it's stuck like this, you can, so route list or route L, it will work. Now here it is. We have about, this is API user, we have the contact, we have employment, we have policies. Now this here is the middleware. We have the web middleware and auth middleware as well. So we're going to discuss this one a little bit later, but now you should know. And there is a name method. They all get URI name. We can name this as well. We're going to do that later. But the thing is that, and it here is called the action. Action is linking, which about is, I'm linking with about method in the pages controller. So that's what you need to know for now. For example, if I create the authentication here, it will be register login, and here in the middleware you will see that they require some authentication. But that we are not there yet. So let's go step by step. Now what we're gonna need to do is I need to create PHP artisan. Let's make a new controller. If you don't want to make a new controller, you need to use pages controller, right? But I'm just gonna say PHP artisan make, controller, double L, controller, and say posts controller, controller, and I will that link with the resources. Now if you go here, I'm just gonna close everything. If you go in app HTTP, right, app HTTP, we have post controller and we have all of the methods. Right now if I go like PHP artisan route list, it will not change because we haven't registered a route yet, right? So I've told you that, so we need to go in. So I have a post blog, so I'm just gonna close some of this, and now if we go here, I'm just gonna copy this one, and let's open the posts controller, and here I will just say index, or you can make it blog, right? Doesn't matter right now because this is only the learning. So in the index I will just want to return view, what view I want to return. So it's go to the pages, And let's see, I don't want to confuse you, right? So it's going into, sorry, into views. It's going not in the pages, in the posts. And inside posts I have blog. Very good. So I have the route here for blog, and that will go to the post controller, which is here, and the post controller index method is returning this view. Let's see now, if I type blog, it will return something. I hope that, oh, the blog doesn't have anything inside yet. The view, actually, blog doesn't have anything. So H1, this is blog page, post, and this is a blog post, right? Now remember, here we had a blog, we have the ID of 5, for example, in title. So now if I do this, it's going to be 404 not found. Why is that? Because here we're just returning this part. So in order to grab this, we need to use something like this, show. Because show is usually used for showing one individual post. So instead of putting here, instead of index, we can just grab this one, make a comment here that you have done this part, but we changed the way we are thinking right now. So I just want this one to be there plus the ID we're gonna pass it. So how I'm gonna put the ID here? But remember, we need to change in the routes. So I'm just gonna comment this one. So that was our first initial step. So I'm just gonna comment this one. I'm gonna put a new one, new link, new method. So that will be show, right? So if I click refresh now in the blog, it should be good. So too few arguments. Here there is one more thing, too few arguments passed, because it expects this one, the ID, right? Now what I'm going to do here is you can also pass this value with and you can say ID comma DID. Now this is how you can pass the value here, right? So this is the value that comes here. You can grab it, and ideally here, this ID, you will search the database here, right? You will search the database, finding something with this ID, and then put that result here with. This is how before, if you go here, we just return it the ID like this. Now this is a little bit different, and here we need to specify with that ID, right? Now let's see what's happening here. Now if I go back here and if I put 15, this is a blog post, and actually we're not printing this 15, although this view has 15 because we attach it like this with ID of 15, right? Now, with ID. Now how we can print things. So now we have this ID. We know it's in post blog, but now it's not visible here. How we can make it visible here? That's very simple. With double curly brackets, and if we say ID, that will be this ID. Now look what happened. 15. If you put something here, it will be here. Whatever you put here, because we're not restricting this to be like a number, right? We haven't done any restriction yet here. So it can be name, it can be ID, but let's pretend that it's ID. So this is a blog post with 15. Another way how you can pass in this one, how you can pass in values through the view, to the view, is if you use compact. Now, I'm just gonna comment this part, and I prefer using that one. Return view, and let's say post dot blog, and here I will say comma and say compact. Oops, not like that. And compact, and here I will just put the, you will put the ID, right? Now if I refresh, it should be ID like that. Now This is the blog post number 15. So I'm putting the ID here. If I had something else, for example, let's create a name here, and that will be, for example, this is from database. Let's create title actually here, and let's say this is the title of this post. So pretend that this is found from the database somewhere. And how we can do this one here, we can just put quotes, and let's say single quotes, and let's say title. So comma, so now I have two values passed into the view, right? And here it won't change anything, but we can print the title here as well, because in the view already contains that title. So this is a blog post 15, this is the title of the post, and let's just change this is the title of the post. Okay, I am post number 1, like this, and that will be changed like this. So now you know how to use controllers and how you can show things. So don't be confused. We can just grab this ID here, put it in the index, and that will make it work in the index. But because I already have the show, I was thinking, yeah, this is show, usually we showing for one post, and that's why we do. That's why I choose it to put it here. Now you know how to use width. Also in width you can put multiple parameters, a little bit more complicated. Maybe we're gonna go that one. It's not just not complicated, more writing. But this one I use compact when I have multiple parameters. Remember here we can pass in even array. We can pass in whatever we want in the view, but we need to find a way how we can print it here. For example, if it's array, we pass in array here in the view. We need to loop through that array. We need to loop one by one with for each, for example, and see what's inside the array. So I hope this makes clear. So that's pretty much it. Now you know how to do this one, and also we can check the route list. Now we're gonna have different route lists. Here it is, blog ID of what? Block with the ID and goes in the show control. Goes in the post controller and show. Now you know that this is a get method. You know the URI. You don't. Here we haven't done a name. Here actually we haven't put the name, but we have app HTTP controllers. We know the controller. We know the method, and the middleware it's using it's web. So that's pretty much it. What we can see from here. So I hope you like this one. So now you know how we've done this instead of returning view here through routes. We have done through the controllers, and you can create multiple controllers, right? Another way how you can do here, I'm just gonna say here like this, resource. If I type resource, look what will happen. So now it will create blog ID, create, so it will list all of the methods, but this is actually not good. We will, and also it gives a name. Now next time I will show you how we can use resource in order to not manually put all of this here. So you will see that one, but that is for the next lecture. So now it should stay with the get, because everything else is not valid. This is not the way we should put things, and next time I will teach you how we can do that. So see you in the next lecture. I hope you enjoyed this one. So next lecture will be probably more interesting because we're getting more deep into routes, controllers, and views, right? So next, maybe we're gonna fix this part to look much more nicer, and we need to also deal with authentication a little bit. So that will be super awesome. See you next time.